All right, these are the practice problems that we did on Tuesday in the forms assignment after you took the notes. So in case you had some questions or wanted some clarification on how to solve these using this graphic organizer, I wanted to make a video for you. So in question number 1, we have our A term, x squared, our B term, positive 2x, and our C term, positive 1. So I'm going to take that A term and that C term and fill it in my box first. So I've got x squared and I have a positive 1. Okay, I can list my A, B, and C terms. My A is 1x squared. My B term is 2x. And my C term is 1. Okay. So the first step that I need to do is multiply my A times my C term. Well, that's really easy when my A term is 1. Okay, so in the top of my x, I'm just going to have x squared or 1x squared. It means the same thing. In the bottom of my x, I'm going to have my B. My B term here is a positive 2x. So what two numbers multiply to give me 1 but add together to give me 2? Well, that's just going to be 1 times 1. I add those together and I get 2. So on the sides of my x, I'm going to have 1x and 1x. And I can use those two numbers to fill in my area model or my box method. Okay, so this will be a positive x and a positive x. Now I need to factor out my rows and my columns. So x squared times x, the only thing I can factor out is an x. I have a positive x and a positive 1. The only thing I can factor out is a positive 1. Now I'm going to look at my columns. X squared plus x, I can factor out an x. X plus 1, I can factor out a positive 1. So I end up with x plus 1 and x plus 1 as my factors. That can also be listed as just x plus 1 squared. Okay, this is a perfect square trinomial. So that's something I want you to be in the custom of looking for while we're in section 5 and 6. All right, so let's move on to number 2. We have our A term, x squared. So I'm going to fill that into the box. X squared. I'm going to take my C term, positive 10. Fill it into the box. Positive 10. Now I have this B term, and this B term is going to go at the bottom of my x. So I have a positive 7x. My A times my C term, it's going to be really easy. That's a positive 10x squared. Okay, so if you want to, you can still list your A, your B, and your C up above. Okay, my A times my C, right? I did right here, and I'm going to use that number as well to make my factor T-chart. So I'm looking for factors of 10, a positive 10, that are going to add together to give me 7. So I have 1 and 10, or 2 and 5. Those are the only factors that I know of for 10. I'm going to add those together, and I get either 11 or 7. So that means that 2 plus 5, or positive 2x, and a positive 5x are my solutions to my x puzzle. So I'm going to take those numbers and now fill in my area model. So I have a positive 2x and a positive 5x. And now I need to factor my rows and columns. All right, so x squared plus 5x, I can factor out an x. Positive 2x plus 10, I can factor out a positive 2. Now looking at my columns, x squared plus 2x, I'm going to factor out an x, positive 5 times positive, and a positive 5x and a positive 10, I can factor out a 5. So I'm left with, as my factored pair, x plus 2 and x plus 5. Because multiplication is a commutative property, it does not matter which order I put them in. I can do x plus 5 first or x plus 2. Both of them would give me the same answer. All right, looking at number 3. I've got my A term. I'm going to fill it in the top left box. I have my C term. I'm going to fill it in the bottom right hand of my box. Don't forget the sign. Bring the sign with you. Okay, I have my C term here, which is a positive 13x. I'm going to fill that in here, positive 13x. And then I need to multiply my A times my C term together, which in this case is pretty easy because my A term is 1. All right, my A term is 1, B is 13, C is 36. So my A times C is going to be 36x squared, and it's positive. So I need to find all of the factors of a positive 36 that are going to add up to give me 13. So to start at the beginning, I'm just going to zoom a little bit so it's easier for me to write. All right, so I have 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, 6 times 6. Okay, since these are all positive numbers, because I'm looking for a positive answer and my B term is positive, I'm going to add them together to see which one gives me that 13. So 36 plus 1 is 37. 18 plus 2 is 20. 12 plus 3 is 15. 9 plus 4 is 13. So I'm going to use the factor of 4x and 9x, and I'm going to use those terms to fill in my boxes. I have my area model. So plus 4x plus 9x. Now I need to factor my rows and columns. All right, x squared plus 4x, I can factor out an x. Positive 9x plus 36, I can factor out a positive 9. X squared plus 9x, I can factor out an x. 4x plus 36, I can factor out a 4. I can check my work at this point as well. Does x times x give me x squared? Yes. Does 9 times x give me a positive 9x? Yes. Does 9 times 4 give me a positive 36? Yes. Does x times 4 give me a positive 4x? So I know that the factors of this quadratic expression is x plus 9 and x plus 4. All right, moving on to number 4. I have my A term. I'm going to fill that in here. X squared. I have my C term, negative 77. And I'm going to fill that in here. Then I take my C term, my positive 4x, and I'm going to fill that in the bottom of my x. Puzzle. All right. So again, I have my A times my C. Well, 1x squared times negative 77 is going to give me a negative 77x squared. So what two numbers multiply to give you negative 77 and add together to give you 4? Well, 77 only has 4 factors. It's 1 and 77, or 7 and 11. But because I need a negative 77, that means this has to be negative, either the 1 negative or the 7 negative, or I could have negative 77 or negative 11. Okay, I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm still adding these numbers together to see which one is going to give me this positive 4x. Well, negative 1 plus 77 is going to give me 76. Negative 7 plus 11 is going to give me 4. So that's my answer right there. I really don't even need to continue. This would give me negative 76, and this would give me negative 4. But I want a positive 4. So I'm going to use the two factors of negative 7x and positive 11x to fill in my area model. Now I need to pull out my common factors. Looking at my rows, x squared plus 11x, I can pull out an x. Negative 7x minus 77, I can factor out a negative 7. Looking at my columns, x squared minus 7x, I can factor out an x. I have a positive 11x and a negative 77. I'm going to factor out a positive 11. Now, before I factored out a negative 7. That's because both terms were negative in the row. So that's how I was able to factor out a negative number. If both terms are not negative, you can't factor out a negative. All right. So my factored pair is x minus 7 and x plus 11. Okay, that positive sign needs to be with the 11. Otherwise, you do not get your positive 4x for your B term. So be careful and make sure you've put it with the correct term. All right, let's look at number 5. I have 14x squared. I have 17x, and I have a positive 5. I haven't been talking about it because we haven't had any greatest common factor problems because our A terms have been 1. This is the first time we have an A term that's greater than 1. So is there a number that you can divide into 14, 17, and 5 and end up with a whole number? No, not in this example. Oops. So there is not a GCF for this example. My A term is equal to 14, my B term is equal to 17, and my C term is equal to 5. Okay, I use these labels primarily when I have an A term. So I'm still going to fill in my area model the same way. 14x squared. I'm going to fill in my C term here, which is a positive 5. And then I need to do my 14x squared multiplied by 5 is going to give me 70, a positive 70x squared. Okay, my B term is just a positive 17x. So I need to figure out what are the factors of 70, a positive 70, that will add together and give me a positive 17. Well, I have 1 and 70, 2 and 35. 70 divided by 4 is not a whole number. 70 divided by 3 is not a whole number. 70 divided by 5 is 14. So 5 and 14. And then I'm going to go with 7 and 10. Again, our B is positive, our A times C is positive, so I just need to add these together and determine which one gives me that B term. So 71 plus 70 is 71. That doesn't work. 2 plus 35 is 37. That doesn't work. 5 plus 14 gives me 19. That doesn't work. 7 plus 10 gives me 17. That means my factors are going to be 7 and 10. So I'm going to write 7x and 10x, both are positive, and I'll use those terms to fill in the box. So plus 7x and plus 10x. Now I need to go ahead and erase this here so I can write in my answers. All right, and start factoring. Let's factor out our rows. I've got 14x squared plus 7x. I can factor out a 7x. I can both divide both 14 and 7 by 7, and they both have an x value, so I can factor out the x. Positive 10x and a positive 5. So I can factor out a positive 5. Both 10 and 5 are divisible by 5, so that would be my greatest common factor. 14x squared plus 10x. Well, both are divisible by 2. So I'm going to pull out a 2x. And I can check my math right now. Does 2x times 7x give me 14x squared? Yes. 2x times 5 gives me 10x. So that checks out. Now I need to figure out what is a greatest common factor between 7x and positive 5. Well, the only factor of 7x and positive 5 is going to be a positive 1. So let's check our math. 7x times 1, that equals 7x. 5 times 1, that is equal to 5. So the factors for this trinomial are 2, or I want to keep it in the same order I've been doing. So 7x plus 5 and 2x plus 1. All right, one more question to go. Okay, we have 2x squared plus 21x plus 27. Do we have a greatest common factor? Well, 2, you can divide by 2, but 21, can you divide by 2 and get a whole number? No, so there is no GCF. My A term here is 2x squared, or just 2. My B term is 21x, and my C term is 27. Okay, same steps as I followed before. 2x squared in the top left-hand corner. Positive 27 in the bottom right-hand corner. And then I have my B term, 21x, that I need to fill in the bottom of my x puzzle. So a positive 21x. A times C, so 2x squared multiplied by 27 is going to give me a positive 54x squared. Now I need to find the factors of a positive 54 that are going to add together and give me a positive 21. So I have 1 and 54. I have 2 and 27. I have, oh, I don't know what happened there. I have 3 and 18. And then I have 6 and 9. Okay, everything is positive. My B term is positive. My A times C term is positive. So I just need to add these together to see which ones give me 21. Well, 54 plus 1 is 55. 27 plus 2 is 29. 18 plus 3 is 21. And 6 plus 9 is 15. So that means the factored pair that multiplies to 54 and adds to 21 is going to be 3 and 18. So a positive 3x and a positive 18x. I'm going to fill that into my box. So plus 3x plus 18x. Now I need to factor 2x squared plus 3x. The only thing I can factor out is an x. 18x and 27. Well, 18 is divisible by 9, and 27 is also divisible by 9. So I'm going to factor out a positive 9. 2x squared plus 18x. I can factor out a positive 2x. You don't really need that positive there. It's okay. And then 3x plus 27, I can factor out a 3. Now I'm going to check my math. X times 2x, 2x squared. 2x times 9, 18x. X times 3, 3x. 9 times 3, 27. So my factored pairs are going to be 2x plus 3 and x plus 9. All right, that's it for today's practice problems. We will continue to practice tomorrow in class. Please let me know if you have any questions. This skill is something we have to move on. Okay? Have a great day, guys. Bye.